Hello, Aries. Welcome back to the channel. Aries the Emperor here, back with another general reading for all of my Aries collective. If you guys are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button just so you'll be notified when I upload or go live. And it is always, always greatly appreciated to those of you that show me any type of love, whether that's you donate, which is not required, but greatly appreciated. Shop my Amazon wish list, book personal readings, shop my metaphysical shop. I am running a sale at this time. AriesTheEmperor.com is the website. All personal readings, all natural soaps and oils on sale, okay? And I am working always working to get both personal readings and your candle and metaphysical products out to you guys. So thank you so much for your support, especially during this holiday season. It is greatly appreciated. All right. Let's see what messages come out for you guys. And also, really quickly, so I don't forget, as well, for those of you who are into the metaphysical otter spirit, if you do not know, I am brand ambassador, and so they are spreading the love. Okay, this is a company that represents a great cause here. I've got some aventurine, some green jade here, and this here, well, no, yeah, I've got an Italian crystal here, and they're so beautiful. Look how they shine, you guys. 35% off for my collective. If you would like to shop, their link is in the description box down below. 35% off. Aries the Emperor 35 is the code. All right, so everything you need to know. If you have any questions, you need to connect with me, just click the arrow down below, okay? And check out my second channel, Lit the Alchemist, where I read for all 12 zodiac signs. There may be a message in there for you. But nonetheless, let's get into this read. Let's see why people are intimidated by your energy, your presence, your decorum. What is it about you, Aries? Let's find out. Sun in Sagittarius, Moon in Taurus. You could be thinking, you could be being really logical at this time, trying to be really practical, especially with your money, where you're going to spend it, how you're going to spend it, who you're going to spend it on, especially if you're shopping for the holidays or just in general. You know what I mean? This is a time of transition for everybody. And it's a lot of trying to prioritize and releasing old and just making sure that you can bring in as much as the new in with you as possible. And of course, you're going to bring some old in, but you know, that's where you filter out and you leave that unnecessary old out, honey. No matter how long it takes you, take your time. You know what I'm saying? Spirit is saying don't rush out of something if you feel like you know you're stuck there. And when I say stuck, I just mean maybe your heart is stuck somewhere. Maybe you're just not 100%. You feel like there's a missing piece or a missing puzzle, or that something is out of alignment. Don't ignore that. You know what I mean? Just pay attention to that area and ask for some assistance. You know what I'm saying? And then put your boots, as they say, to the ground, you know, here on earth with a practical plan. And then the two worlds meet, you know, and in the middle, you are a star. You know, a star is born, your creation is born, something is successful for you here with the starting off with the 10 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. Money, money, money. Hey, cream, gotta get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. This is what it's giving. Okay, very Wu-Tang like. But people could be intimidated by your energy because they know you're about your dollar. They know you're about your money. And not just a quick buck. You know, you want to reach deeper than that. You know, money is not just having it, is not the end all be all for you. It's a tool. You understand that. It's a somewhere to get you to somewhere else, a bigger goal, your actual purpose. You know, people do it all the time. You work 2 jobs and then when you get off, you got to do, you know, your side hustle, what it is that you really dream of doing. I've had to do that many a times. You know what I mean? It's hard. And being a single parent, Trust me. So people are looking at you, and they are looking at all the factors, and applying it, to their thoughts and their process, whether that's a mental or their actual physical process, because they may have a common goal to try and get to as you do, but y'all may be doing it totally separate. And somebody here just may be intimidated by that. Maybe you were hitting the wall, with something, and hitting the wall, or it looks like you're hitting the wall, but somewhere, you are figuring out in spaces that when you do finally hit that wall, go through that wall, the next time successfully get around that wall, those spaces, those leaks in your boat that you patched up was all that you needed to do to set you, to catapult you. And hey, Ace of Pentacles status that's what you're trying to achieve. And hey, once you get there, you get there. Money still green, money still spin the same. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got to worry about looking over your shoulder about it. People have done low things for money. People have done things that they don't really sit right with them. And it may hit them later down the line when that money done dried out. And now they got to sit with themselves and who they had been running. You running from yourself with the money, and then the money runs out on you, and your old self is still staring at you like, hi, you remember me? You are dealing with people like that. You're able to go home and lay down and get a good night's rest here, but people are intimidated because they would like to interrupt that and they cannot. You know what I'm saying? So they up somewhere looking at you peacefully while you enjoy your sleep, your riches, your success, your come up, your glow up, your peace, your new mind frame, your new superpowers, your new relationship, just whatever that is for you here. People could, all right, we have the Eight of Wands, Sagittarius. People could just be jealous or intimidated by the way that things work out for you. Like people could really, a lot of people say that they hard workers. A lot of people will, brag and say they've done a lot of great things, but the proof is in the pudding when it comes to you, is what I'm hearing. And like I said, there are certain things, whether it is something material-wise that people can tell that you've worked hard, or that you know what you're doing, or because you have good taste or expensive taste, or however this looks. Because the Eight of Wands can be somebody who, even you may be somebody that does well, but you make it look like you have even more than that, and when people come around you, they feel like they have more, and then they feel like they have the will to be able to go out and be just as free and voiceful, and independent and fiery as you are. But then at the same time, because we had a card flip here. Yeah, Four of Wands, Aries energy. People may be jealous because they can't just pick that up, pour it in a bottle, put it in a to-go box and leave with it forever. No, like this is something that really is yours, and it stays in your garden. You can only eat this when you go to Aries' house. And people don't like that. It's easy for somebody to look at a picture of you and then go out and buy the same outfit, that, go find the same look, whether or not it's the same designer, but they can go out and put that look together. You know what I'm saying? But not here, not with this. And this is very intimidated. This is something that you actually have to do some type of dark night, some type of soul searching, some type of, like, this here is not the kiddie pool, honey. That's why you the king of Pentacles around here. Taurus energy. I love it. Like I said, it's your values, are a part of this. It's more than just possessions and what you have accumulated. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's bigger than just the bank and your money. It's bigger than being a baller or looking like a baddie. You know what I mean? This is about stability here for somebody. This is about the wisdom that you have learned with what you have gained. And can you keep this and build on top of that, or can you know what I mean, successfully pass this on to the next generation? This is about the taste that you have. Taurus, this is fixed energy. So like I said, it's something that stays with you. And this could be things that you're feeling right now, or this, like I said, that I feel like other people are feeling, that are you have or are doing to them, and they are intimidated by it, but it's not your fault. You're never negatively or personally attacking anybody for that matter here. These could be people, like I said, you got your hands and your feet dirty, and they were somewhere being bossy and lazy. You know what I mean? Somebody is just waiting on a handout. They waiting on a lottery. They waiting on an inheritance. And you went out here helping your inheritance meet you halfway. You know, somebody's intimidated about the way you spend, about the way that you're able to spend money. And not have to, maybe not have to borrow or beg. You're private with the way you spend money or with what you have, or you already have in your mind as far as who's in your temple and who's a part of it. And it's an intimidating feeling because people know you're not a everybody's type of person. And that makes people feel away, especially important people, because they expect everybody to kiss their ass and you not doing that. So that's intimidating even to them. Look at this. You don't give a fuck. You like, fuck the upper class. Fuck the socialites. Fuck you and your foreign car. You know, whatever. You know, and no offense if you drive a foreign car. I'm just using that as an example. If you worked hard for your shit, then by all means, pop it. You hear me? Pop it. But the moon in reverse and the 9 of Pentacles, don't none of this phase you. Did I not tell you how good your taste was? Yeah, we working on this in all areas of your life. Aries is what I hear Spirit saying for you. Oh, they ain't seen the lottery yet, honey. And here come the phone interruptions. The moon is Pisces energy, and the 9 of Pentacles is Virgo energy. Virgo also is a very practical spender, expensive taste as well. In reverse, this is somebody with terrible spending habits and terrible taste. This is somebody, like I said here, they're intimidated by you. They have no business trying to compete with you, or just, like I said, somebody could be secretly watching you, having an opinion about you. And people know that there's a side to you with the moon and the 9 of Pentacles. I feel like you're a very generous soul, but it's very clear, like I said, who you share that with or how that goes. You have a very quiet energy about you. You're a type of person I'm speaking to is you know that saying, if you know, you know. You're like that. You got to know Aries to know Aries. You know what I mean? If you don't, then you just don't. It's a privilege, you know, it's a pleasure here. And people who are feeling like they are privileged or a pleasure are very not so. Ooh. And they just made me kick my knee. 6 of Swords. Aquarius energy. Look at that. 10 of Swords. Gemini energy here. People are intimidated by you because you're a fighter. You don't give up. You know, people have to pull out the big guns for you. Like, you're going to be there and you're going to back people up. You're going to lead the pack. You know, you're going to make sure you get through one way or another here. We got the 3 of Swords and the Fool. Like I said, Aries energy, one way or another. The Emperor, you are victorious. That's why people are intimidated. You're not shakeable. You know what I mean? That's why people are intimidated. You are not afraid to hurt feelings because you're honest. And that puts you in your higher self. You're not finna spare nobody for that. Yeah, you still love them and people know that. And they envy you because they feel like that makes them weak. The devil, because you seem so strong. And yet they out here giving up and giving in to a sinful pleasure of some sort here. Or just, like I said, you know, being a follower and not a leader, with the devil and the Six of Pentacles, just giving into situations that are empty. You're not going, these are people who they not getting nothing out of their situations, and maybe you done got to a point where your situations are turning around. Your give and take is equal here. And this could be in your lovers and your relationships, and people may be mad that you'd rather be alone than to take back something that is just ridiculously karmic and toxic, that intimidates people. Like I said, you are rearing the monster's ugly face, walking up to him and taking the mask off. You have lovers that are still hurting and yearning for you, that are intimidated. They were intimidated by you in the relationship. They still intimidated by you now. They still watch you now. They still talk about you now. They still want to have sex with you now. They still want to be stuck to you. They're still obsessed with you now. They're the same users. We got the Star card. The same narcissists. The same Indian givers. I want to show y'all the Star, but y'all know she's naked. So let me just do this. Okay. Yeah, but the Page of Swords, Aquarius energy, and the Star card. Yeah, like you're a star and this person's a page. Come on. And no offense, because in anything, you got to know in this life, you got to know that you got to crawl before you walk in anything. Don't ever be ashamed of where you are in life, money wise, car wise, house, apartment, whatever wise. Get your mind right first and foremost, and understand what the fuck is going on around you immediately, and then work your way out. Because 85% of this bullshit is irrelevant. Trust me when I say this. Okay? I might look young, but I'm very much auntie, trying to drop a few gems here. You a star, you always gonna be one. You know what I'm saying? You intimidate motherfuckers now. You keep doing what you doing and you keep going higher. Imagine when you really get to that boss, that final boss level. You need this experience. Some of y'all, you know what I mean? Depending on what depending on what you are going after in life. It's a lot of sharks out there, and you're going to have to become one. And people already see you as one. Let me say that. And so guess what? If you looking like a shark, the biggest shark in the water, guess who they coming for first? Whether it's a whole school of them that's needing to take you down and dismantle you, or another big one that's coming in, you know what I'm saying, to wag his little tail to see how much bigger or smaller yours is. Okay? And whether this is spiritual or something physical, you know what I mean? But you got to know, with the devil out here and the moon also, they trying to betray you, or maybe they have, but whatever they're trying to do ultimately is a major fail. Okay? Major fail. Two of Cups, the Star. Yeah, like I said here, it's Cancer energy. Justice. I feel like this is energy, whatever people may say or do, for the most part, you ain't really never done nothing to somebody for them to be able, to hate you enough to where they've written you off in life. Like you don't even carry that type of spirit or soul. And people are so sick with themselves that they really are the ones that do carry, and they really do need to go fix themselves. That's intimidating, like, wow. You proving people wrong, and you're not on no stage doing it. You're not in front of millions of people doing it. And that shit hits so much harder to home than anything that anybody could ever feel. Like justice. You getting your ass spiritually kicked, and you learning a lesson at the same time. You know what I mean? And probably, like I said, this is things people been running from for a long time, and it have finally caught up with them. Yep, look at that. 5 of Cups. Scorpio energy. That damn Aries. Girl, you make people feel a way. Like, all 4 seasons in one day, that's how you be making a person feel like you have the power to do that type of thing, Aries, with the Two of Swords. And it's so funny because people would like to say, like, baby, you're so chaotic, but why the fuck you still want to be in my world after I cut you out? Why do you keep wandering back over here? If it's so sad, and sorry. The high priestess, even the high priestess wants to know. See what I mean? And it's like, maybe it's doses that people need to take you in, because I feel like you download so much into people, it scares them, and then they get intimidated by you, and then they may ghost you, or there may be some distance and some time that person finally needs to process, to even understand, because I feel like you guys are very different when you're in relationships with people. Things like your disagreements, or the way that you prepare dinner, or just certain things that you're doing when you get to know people, I feel like people, they really adopt a lot of that from you. You download a lot into them. So when they do get away from you and they're able to apply that to their everyday life, or to marinate, or just think over and process how you are and everything, they then feel the spiritual powers that you have given them. But they understand, for more growth, they need to return to you. So whether they scared or not, whether they done ghosted you or not, they still done ran out of the supply, and they need back in. So all that intimidation and all that whatever goes out the window to some of them. But guess what? A lot of them are upset now. Or people are upset because you're not going for that. The Hanged Man. You stopping them right in their tracks. You've thought about this long and hard. Queen of Wands. Final decision. I'm going to leave this read here, y'all. Hit that like and subscribe button for more messages from me. I've got work to do. Ciao.